Today's very special NFL preview episode of the BS Podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek, our presenting sponsor and the only fan-friendly app for buying and selling tickets for sports and music. Just 2 taps on your phone, you can instantly buy SeatGeek tickets to an event and enter the event using your phone. No paper tickets. Drop your old ticket app and use one that's built for 2016. Again, do everything on your phone. Download the free SeatGeek app or go to SeatGeek.com. We are also brought to you by Sling TV, the best way to watch live TV on your turf. For just $20 a month, you can stream more than 20 live channels, including ESPN, TNT, and CNN. No installation, no extra gear, no annual contracts. Just an internet connection. You're ready to go. Start watching for 7 days free at sling.com/Bill Simmons. You get Sling TV on your favorite device. Restrictions do apply. We're also brought to you by my new HBO show, Any Given Wednesday. We return on Wednesday, September 7th at 10 p.m., one day before the NFL season begins. Needless to say, it will be a football episode. You can watch the first 8 episodes and every bonus clip we've had so far on HBO Now, HBO Go, and HBO On Demand. Don't forget to check out my new website, The Ringer, as well as the Ringer Podcast Network. Subscribe to the Ringer NFL show right now. Catch up on our big NFL preview we have going there, and you can follow that show throughout the season. Shout out to Robert Mays, Kevin Clark, Danny Kelly, Claire McNear, and the rest of our NFL team. They've been doing some great NFL preview stuff. Please check that out. All right, Sound House coming up. Let's go.
Yeah.
Wow. It's been a while. The Cousin Sal.
Yeah.
My longtime friend.
We are back.
It's our 10th year. It's our 10th NFL season doing podcasts.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you get me?
I didn't get you anything. What is that? In wedding anniversary, it's like a silver, not silver, like a copper anniversary.
Is it copper?
Something.
All right. Yeah.
We used to jokingly say that this would make a great radio show someday.
Mm-hmm.
Us guessing the lines. We'd call on Sunday. You'd call me on Sunday nights after we worked together, started working together in Jimmy Kimmel's show.
Right.
And we would guess the lines for that week's games. And I always maintained it would make a radio show. And now here we are, year 10.
Here we are, radio. There is no such thing as radio. So we're doing
There's
it here.
everything's digital now. We have 5 kids between us.
Oh, man.
I have 2 dogs. Did you get a dog?
No, they're pushing me to get one.
You didn't replace Carlos?
Couldn't replace Carlos. No. We got to get the youngest mistake kid out of diapers first before we start cleaning the yard every day.
Maybe Brad could replace Carlos, our friend Brad. So we had our fantasy football draft. By the way, here's the schedule for this podcast. We are going to get Joe House on the line, and we're going to make over-under picks, future picks, stupid bets like who's the first coach fired, all that stuff. It's all coming up. But we had our fantasy football draft last night.
Right.
And I brought Tate, who's producing this podcast, actually. I just brought him because I needed help. I hadn't done any homework. And I also really wanted a witness.
Yeah.
It's just hard to describe what that room's like with all the characters in there.
Right.
And our friend Brad, who's been on this podcast before, took it to 8 other levels. I don't even know what to compare it to. Like Kobe's 81-point game. What would he hit? 3 pitchers of Coke?
He
had 3 pitchers of Coke.
Yeah, that's hard to do, people at home. Like it's much more difficult than beer, I think.
Right.
The carbonation in Coke, and he was on his 3rd pitcher. Granted, a quarter of a pitcher ended up all over his grid where he was trying to keep track of where
his computer.
Everyone was drafting, but it was still a good effort. And then, he was off to the bathroom and he's moaning and just making noise. It was very hard for me to listen to our auctioneer, Mike August, rattle off, mispronounced names the whole night. I was really confused as to what was going on.
Yeah, James Tate instead of Jordan, like James Jordan, and like anything with a J, he would just screw up. Mike August. But Brad had so much Coke that he left at one point. He went to the bathroom, which was in earshot, and he was moaning. Like I actually thought he had been assaulted.
Yeah.
Why does he moan? What's he moaning about?
When you say he had so much Coke, it's the good kind of Coke. Yeah, but the moans would lead you to think that it was the bad stuff. But yeah, I don't know. He just
was he like trying to take a dump? Like what was going on?
He's just like his heart is always fighting against him, and he's drinking
Right.
soda and eating wings, and it's just a mess. And
He was very upset about the night of, so we got
Yeah.
to hear about that. Damashek interrupted him as he was excoriating the season finale, and then he got mad at Damashek.
Yeah.
That was certainly worth the interruption.
So
Way to pop my bubble.
Damashek wrote up the possibility of having a 7-point field goal. It's like, some guy's going to have a 70-yard field goal. So you have to, he's like, oh, yeah, right, 70, yeah, that's going to happen. That was worth it. Thanks for bringing that up. We're all smarter now.
7-point field goal. Yeah, great.
But the best thing is, like, Brad was supposed to, he won the league last year. So
Yeah.
his duty is to vote somebody out.
Oh, we should explain that.
Yeah.
Well, people probably know if they've heard this, but every year the winner, we have 11 teams show up. We leave with 10. Somebody gets voted out. The champ gets to vote someone out. Paul Cohurst had voted out Brad 2 different years.
2 out of 3 years. Yeah.
And the second time he did it, there was real violence in the air.
It was bad.
There was fear. There was a Coke whipped across the room.
Right. And Brad loves his Coke, as we
Yeah,
just
he
explained.
does.
Yeah.
And so once he won the league, he was like, "Don't even show up.
Yeah. That was it.
There's no mystery this year. There's no getting cute. You're just getting out. There's
Right.
no story."
Right. But Paul did show up, and he got berated. I think he thought it was going to be fun, but he's like, "You're a douche. Get out of here. Nobody likes you."
Yeah.
You're supposed to be clever about how you vote somebody out. Last year I made a puzzle, and whoever finished the puzzle first
Yeah.
one, or some other, even if it's 1 in 100, have him go through the ringer. And just see if he could maybe get in. But no, Brad was like, "Get out of here, and don't even say anything back, because you're not clever, and you haven't been clever in 40 years, so it's not going to happen now." Like, whoa.
And then he left. He's like, "I wasn't even giving that guy a story." It's like, "What's the story? I heard you got voted out. What was the story?" "No, there's no story. There's no story at all. You got voted out."
Oh, he's so out of his mind.
He was so mad.
And Tate here, you brought Tate, and Tate was mouth agape the whole time, right? Like, you couldn't.
Yeah. He was just giggling. He was surprised.
Yeah.
He was frightened a couple times.
Yeah. Did you even know John Hamm was in the room, Tate? Like, there was like celebrities there.
Yeah, he didn't say
No,
much.
Brad took over.
John Hamm was serious.
He did. He was very focused.
Yeah. And we had Ezekiel Elliott. I spent $52 on.
You did, right?
I wanted Gronk and I wanted Ezekiel Elliott. I told Tate in the car, I'm getting those 2 guys. I don't really care what the price is. I thought it'd be $90 combined. It ended up being $102. I don't care.
Right.
Those are the 2 guys I wanted.
And I think
have 2 of the best 7 guys in fantasy football.
So we went. You went about 140, 150 of your $200 before you picked a receiver.
Yeah.
I had 16 or 15 out of my roster spots before I even picked a quarterback. So
Yeah, I didn't know
that's
what
the
you were
thing-
doing.
that's
You
the
scared
thing with
me there.
auction. Yeah, I didn't really know what I was doing either.
I thought you had a plan, and then I gradually realized you didn't.
No,
that
I
you
didn't.
kept. But you got Matt Ryan for $2, and then you have the Dallas combo.
That's right. Yeah.
Dak and Romo.
That'll be great.
So, America wants to know your thoughts on Romo.
I'm very upset. I'm very
Yeah.
upset. Yeah, it's, I mean, we met the guy, you know him, and it's
Yeah, you're friendly with
it's
him now.
sad when you know him, and he was very excited. I saw him this summer. Very excited about the upcoming year.
He feels like they could have made the Super Bowl last year if he hadn't gotten hurt.
He's always very positive, but the number 14-2 was thrown out there, and it's like, great. And I was like, what about the defense? You worry? He's like, no, the offense is going to be so good, it doesn't matter. And he really had me believing. And then this stupid thing, he's the only injury. Well, I guess before today, he was the only injury in preseason. It's just, in fact, we lost our backup, Kellen Moore. Like, I don't think a team's ever lost 2 quarterbacks in the same preseason.
How long is
Top
Kellen
2.
Moore out for?
I think he's done too. I think
Oh, my God.
I don't know.
You know, one of my predictions for this year was going to be that he couldn't get through the season, and I knew
How dare you.
when I made it the prediction, your feelings would be hurt,
Right.
and you'd take it personally. I just felt like his body had undergone too much,
Right.
and
Well, with thoughts like that, I don't think you're going to make it through the season.
well, he ended up getting hurt on a fluke play, which wasn't totally a fluke because, first of all, just go down. It's the preseason.
Right.
Where are you scrambling? You're trying to change it from 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 7. Like, just go down.
He should
Nobody
have probably
cares.
been instructed
Just fall
not
down.
to scramble. Yeah.
And then, certain quarterbacks, like the hits that he takes. Weinberger was saying this the other day, who works here, who's the president of BSMG.
Yeah.
But he was saying, like, she said, like, the reason the Mannings played so many games is they never took stupid hits like that in August.
Right.
He's got this crazy defense running around. They're dying to take shots at him.
know.
I don't know. I thought it was
it's bad
stupid.
news, but I also think like that. Maybe it's just in my head, but
Now
I
it
think,
made you sad. Maybe I shouldn't
no, I'm
have
gonna have
brought
to
this
leave.
up.
I'm gonna have to leave for a while. No, the previous like surgeries and everything, that was a that was a legitimate hit. I think that would have taken anyone out 6 to 10 weeks,
Totally.
I think, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel good about that if you can. Feel good about anything like
I
that.
actually wonder why more quarterbacks don't have separated shoulders and broken collarbones.
yeah.
Just the law of physics of the very hard ground.
Right.
And the 290-pound guy throwing you into that ground just seems like more bad things should happen.
Yeah, it's like basketball players should twist their ankle. Or there I go bringing up basketball again.
I know. You want to talk? Screw NFL.
I can't go 10
Season's
minutes.
less than 2 months away.
No, we need to stay focused just for an hour on this.
I did a ton of homework yesterday and today,
Good.
and I'm actually like semi-prepared.
Okay.
The big. We're taping this late Wednesday afternoon in beautiful Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
And Teddy Bridgewater goes down, and they're like, "There's an ambulance." His teammates are throwing their helmets. His teammates are upset. It's like, what kind of injury was this? Have they said what the injury was yet? He break his leg?
They said severe knee injury.
Okay.
I mean, they haven't confirmed it.
Well, he's done, right?
Yeah. So it was like a Sean.
Non-contact.
Was it like a Sean Livingston type injury? I guess we'll find out. By the time you guys hear this, we'll know what the injury was. But
Yeah, please tell us if you hear this.
Yeah, tell
in the
us
next couple of days.
in the future.
Yeah.
I didn't love the Vikings anyway.
I didn't either. That
I
was going to
thought
be
they
my
kind of
under.
overachieved a little last year, and then that playoff game was so weird. It was so cold. I think that was just one of those stupid freezing weather games, and I thought there were so many people blowing smoke up their butts. They seemed to me like a possible regression team.
Right.
And now with Sean Hill, was he ever on your team? Sean Hill?
No, we didn't have that one.
I don't think we've had him
I
either,
don't
but
think
most
so.
of the teams have.
Yeah, right.
And
they didn't do so well, right?
Unless they do no, they didn't do that well. But unless they do a Kaepernick trade, like now they just stacked the line on Peterson, right?
I think they were going to do that anyway.
Yeah, but now
Bridgewater
they're
had
really
trouble
gonna stack
throwing
it.
downfield and stuff like that. But yeah, I think they're kind of going to be like the Broncos with a super front seven, low scoring games, and maybe Sean Hill has to bail them out a few times. But it's going to be tough to win these games.
Great defense.
Yeah.
Great coach. One of my favorite coaches. I don't like most coaches, but I actually like Mike Zimmer. And they beefed up the running game at the receiving game.
Yep.
Laquan Treadwell, who's on my fantasy team. I was excited about that. Diggs. I don't know. Maybe Sean Hill. Could he? I can't. Is Sean Hill capable of winning 11 games? Like, it seems inconceivable.
It's tough, and that's what you have to do, right? To win that division for sure, I think.
We should call House.
Let's do it.
Let's call
We're
House
in
and
on
let's
this.
get this going. Before we do, though, Tate, call House as I'm.
Yeah, I'm pulling up his number right
All right. As Tate's calling House, Sal, you Sling TV? Familiar with Sling TV's
I
work?
am a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Monday Night Football starting soon. Everyone out there, the cord cutters, as they call them.
Yeah.
Not our generation. We just pay for stuff.
Right.
The younger generation's much smarter. I hope you're not going to spend the next 4 months hoping a friend will invite you over or saving your money to splurge on a night of lonely sports bar drinks. That's what Robert Mays used to do when we worked
Really?
at Grayling. He used to go to sports bars and just get cheap beer and watch the cable because he was a cord cutter. You have a better, cheaper option. It's Sling TV. The best way to watch live TV on your turf for just $20 a month. You get 20 live channels. You get more than that, actually, including ESPN, TNT, AMC, CNN, Adult Swim, IFC, other top networks. No installation, no extra gear, no annual contracts. An easy online cancellation. You just need an internet connection. You have an internet connection.
I do. I think I can make that work.
Start watching for 7 days free at sling.com/Bill Simmons. Get Sling TV on your favorite device. Get ready for Monday Night Football. Restrictions do apply. All right, here's Joe House.
now. Joe House.
Right now, Joe House, how are you?
Yeah.
This is our second attempt at your intro, since you crossed all lines in the first one.
That was a line crosser? I don't know.
We haven't seen
You
each
guys,
other.
I thought the ringer had balls.
We also have taste.
Those have sponsors.
How dare you?
Last time we saw you was in the city of Las Vegas, Nevada. We were with Sal.
Speaking of taste.
We gambled all night. You guys were the first to bed. I stayed up till 6:30. I just want to give a shout out. Age 46, still banging out 6:30 Vegas nights and losing money and feeling
That's
good
pretty
about it.
good.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
I felt it for
Simmons-
next week.
I mean, you don't leave a table like that. That's
No.
not like people say. I didn't leave the table all night. Bill does not leave the table
No.
for a work day's worth of time. From
8
like,
hours.
From 8 to 8, 8 to 6:30.
If I like the table, I'm there.
And it's crazy.
Yeah.
And
My favorite part of
Yeah.
My favorite part of the trip was Bill being adamant that we have a very quick dinner, an in-and-out dinner, and then we go to Nobu and we sit down and they put in front of us the 12-course omakase.
Yeah.
And he takes the lead. He says, "That's what we want. We want the 12-course."
It was great.
He wanted
It was great. I loved it.
He wanted 90 seconds a course, though. That was the thing, because he wanted to go from 7 p.m. to 6 in the morning instead of 8 p.m. to 6 in the morning. It was a big difference.
Yeah, it dashed my plans of being at the tables by 9 o'clock. I'm glad Vegas, the older we get, Vegas is still Vegas.
It's still good. And Bill was mad at us, House. I figured, you needed to pick me up. We had certainly eaten enough that night, but then we went off and bought pizza, and we showed up at the blackjack table eating pizza.
That upset me.
After this giant meal.
I just felt like he disgraced the sushi meal.
I did too.
You get these
That's what we tried to do.
He was already mad at me. I got a massage at the table.
That's true. House got a massage at the table. This lady's walking around going, massage, and House goes, yeah, and turns the chair around. What was it, like $3 a minute?
It wasn't quite that. Well, yeah, it was that expensive.
The pizza
was so worth it.
The pizza was $16 a slice. It was crazy.
All I know is
I'd already had this Simmons disgusted face from the massage. The pizza was fine.
It's hard to believe the table didn't catch fire when one guy was getting a freaking massage with his back turned.
That's old school
hard to believe
Vegas.
the energy wasn't there. I don't remember that scene in Swingers. All right, we're going to go through the divisions now. Normally we like the bets about who's going to make the playoffs or not, and we couldn't find those on a reputable website. House sent us a website that I was afraid to click on. I thought my computer was going to crash.
I think you started that website this morning.
Yeah.
It was a regular old scoresandodds.com.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
That sounded like a plug. Was that a paid plug? What just happened?
Unfortunately, no.
Congratulations on the new venture, House.
Make sure you put in code Joe House.
So do you want to go AFC first?
Yeah, let's go AFC first. So we'll just do the divisions, each one. I'm going to give the odds. We're going to say what we think. Now, this is an important distinction for the people out there. Mm-hmm. We're not saying who we think is going to win the division. We're going to say what we think is the best bet.
Best value, right?
Best value for each division. So we're going to go through the division bets, and then for each one, we're all going to give our favorite wins over under. And how the wins work is Vegas gives, you guys know this, but
yeah, come on.
So New England is 10.5 wins, and they give odds on either side. If you bet the over, it's minus 140. You got to bet 140 to win 100. If you bet the under, it's plus 120. You got to bet 100. You win 120 if you win it.
Right.
So that's when we say 10.5, it's got to be over under that number. All right, AFC East. The Pats are minus 225. Buffalo's plus 700. The Jets are plus 700. Miami's plus 800. To me, this is gambling. It's meant for people to lose. It's the reason Vegas keeps building casinos. It's the reason we have Gamblers Anonymous.
Right.
It's the reason the gamblers always win in movies.
Right.
And yet every year the Pats win the AFC East.
Yeah.
And we stare at it every year and we wonder if we should bet on it, and then we do and we win. Minus 225. Just, House, you go first. What team botches that bet for the Patriots?
It's not a team. I mean, the answer is
it's got to be a team.
It gets botched because Brady. What?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Something happens to the Patriots. It's not that a team in the AFC East is going to rise up and steal the throne from the Patriots. It's that something happens to Brady or Belichick that completely derails them. And then
to Belichick? What are you insinuating, House? What do you mean to Belichick? What's he going to have, a heart attack? What can happen to him? He doesn't play. He doesn't play. Nothing's going to happen to him.
That sweatshirt with the arms cut off, I don't like that look. It's early onset. It could be an early onset issue with Belichick.
All right, so let's say
Doesn't he know how old he is?
But let's say the Pats have the year from now. Let's say the 4 games they go 1-3.
Right.
Without Brady. Brady comes back, they go 9-7. Can anyone else in the AFC East even go 10-6?
1-3 is your cutoff. If it's any worse than that, you're kind of in trouble. If it's any better than that, it's gravy with Garoppolo, I would say. But minus 225.
But the only team that I would say that could come anywhere near 9 wins is the Jets, and I don't like them for 9 wins.
Oh, see, I think it would be the Bills.
I would say the Bills.
But I also think the Bills ran into a lot of trouble this offseason. They lost Lawson and Ragland, and Darius was suspended. I wouldn't I wouldn't bet an
The
over.
Darius
with them.
thing hurts.
Yeah, I think the Patriots at minus 225 is nice because, like you said, heading into week 16 or week 17, you're going to have a shot at it. So go against it if you're not. Well, otherwise, or they could be up by 2 games by then.
That's true. Their last couple games are week 16 is the Jets and week 17 is at Miami. So
Right.
you have a chance to go against that. The other thing is, I don't think they're going to go 1-3. First of all, I think I'd be disappointed if they. I'm hoping for 3-1. I'd be disappointed if they weren't at least 2-2. Mm-hmm. But they have at Arizona on a Sunday night, week 1.
Right.
And then home for the next 3. Home for Miami. Home for Houston on a Thursday night.
It's big.
And
Yeah.
Houston, the game before that is playing. Hold on.
Look at
Looking
you.
at-
You
yeah.
really did do your homework.
Nah, not
at least
really.
for the Patriots.
So Houston's home for KC, and then 4 days later is playing at New England on Thursday. That's a tough game for
right.
Brock Osweiler.
Yeah.
And then they're home for Buffalo. So that should be 2-2.
I think you can get to 2-2.
We're going 12-4.
Feels very 2-2.
House, we go 12-4 every year. I'm not worried.
But you would like to have a running game these first 4 games. Like you had Tom Brady was your leading rusher in the AFC Championship game with 13 yards, and you take a hit with Deion Lewis. You'd like to get, you don't want to have too much on squarely on Garoppolo's shoulders.
We're
right?
breaking out the double tight end offense
Right.
that I've been waiting my whole Brady life to have. Mm-hmm. The Martellus
Well, you
Bennett and
had
Gronk.
it. One of those guys
did
is in
have
jail
it.
now.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing is there's this misnomer that he was like this blocking tight end. He was an H-back.
You had the
He was
double
listed
tight
as a
end,
tight end.
which got turned into a double homicide.
that's not untrue. But yeah, I would. So out of the other 3, I would say I think Buffalo has the best chance.
Yeah.
But they've had the offseason from hell.
Been real bad. It's been real bad.
And
Yeah, we're going to get to Buffalo. I'm on the opposite side, other and opposite side.
Wow.
I have a preseason perfect parlay that includes the Bills that goes dramatically in the other direction.
So with the Bills under?
No, he likes him
I'm
over.
taking the Bills under. I'm taking Rex Ryan to get fired first.
Oh.
I'm taking
wow.
a parlay of the New England over and the Bills under. I mean, I am working a Bills under angle like CC at Spearmint Rhino worked over my back.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you made Joe Foot this laugh. I'm not against the Bills prediction. And the Rex says the first coach fired, which we're going to get to later. I did have that. What was that, Sal? That was
16-1.
Oh yeah, 16-1.
Really? You have him, huh?
I like Mike McCarthy at 80-1.
No.
80-1? There's not an 80-1 chance Mike McCarthy they go 1-3 and then
Man.
he gets fired.
Has that been updated since the Bridgewater injury? Because
That's true.
It's going to be tough
Yeah, they
for
do
them
look
to
in that
blow
division.
that division. now,
Sal,
I
what
think.
over/under do you like in the AFC East?
I think there's only one. First of all, if you're looking for overs, the AFC East is not
Stay
where
away.
to go
Yeah.
because they play 2 teams. They play the NFC West and the AFC North. Both those divisions sent 2 teams to the playoffs last year. So tough schedules for the whole division. But my under is the New York Jets under 7.5 wins. 6 starters over 30 years old. Their first 6 games, I've never heard a schedule this tough. First 6. Cincinnati, at Buffalo, at Kansas City, Seattle, at New England, at Pittsburgh, and at Arizona.
On a Monday night.
That's insane. And
Yeah,
they're
that's
on
terrible.
a short week 4 times. 6 of their first 9 are on the road. That's tough. And I think the defenses figure out the Fitzpatrick scheme. I go way under there.
And they're going against the NFC West. The whole
Right.
AFC East is. So they're going to have 3 tough games.
Yeah.
3 good defenses.
And the AFC North, who has Cincinnati, Pittsburgh.
And the other thing is they didn't look out. They didn't catch Garoppolo.
Right.
They missed
Yeah,
Garoppolo.
the
I
Pats-
agree with you. If I had to bet on any over/under, I would bet the Pats 10.5. I'd just be shocked if they didn't go 11.
You'd go over, really?
Oh, 100%. Just
So 1-3, you have to go 10.
and here's my logic. I'm not
10
even.
and 3. Right?
I'm not
No, 10
even.
and 2.
I'm not even being an arrogant Pats fan about it. I know you love when I'm an arrogant
Yeah,
Pats fan.
yeah.
I
That's
just think
coming.
like until it doesn't happen, you have to assume it's
No, I
going to
know.
keep happening, right?
And last year we had it at minus 140 when it was assumed that Brady was suspended, and then he wasn't obviously suspended.
And this feels like the same thing. The 4-game suspension's thrown off all of these odds. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, it's like Garoppolo's, if you've watched him, he's
Right.
really good at throwing 11-yard passes. He
Yeah.
throws tight line drives to tight ends. That's what he does. House, you don't care either way. Do you agree that it's stupid to bet against the Patriots until we actually see some real signs of decay?
Just agree,
not
House.
only
Just
do I
agree so
not-
we can move on.
I don't think it's stupid. I'm going to actually allocate some of my hard-earned capital on New England. Minus 225 to win the division. New England on the over 10.5 until demonstrated otherwise.
Sal, House knows. Well, tell America what bet we made. The parlay.
He was there.
I know.
House knows. I see. I'm trying to think what it was now. Was it just New England to win the division and Hillary to win the presidency?
You're damn right it was. Belichick and Hillary, a team I can believe in. Yeah, we have the only Pats AFCS East / Hillary Clinton presidential bet.
And your quarterback doesn't even like Hillary. This is
I know. Although
he
he copied her hairstyle, which I'm still trying to figure out.
he did.
Let's go to the AFC North.
We're all in on that.
Yeah, I know.
Nice bet.
Group bet.
Are people going to be mad that we don't mention the Dolphins at all? Like, I guess.
let's ignore them.
Okay, we'll move on.
Let's ignore
Adam
them.
Gase first.
They're like the guy in your fantasy draft who has no idea how the salary cap works.
I know they do come out
like
swinging though every year. They
I know.
do try.
It's like you realize you only have $200 to spend.
Right.
You have $189 spent. You have 11 spots left.
Right. Exactly.
AFC North.
I just was going to make fun of Ryan Tannehill and the no-huddle offense. That's all.
Well, that's the thing. They're like, oh, Ryan Tannehill knew what. It's like, no.
Yeah.
We've all seen Ryan Tannehill. Just stop it.
Exactly.
AFC North. Pittsburgh's plus 115. Cincinnati plus 200. Baltimore plus 350. Cleveland 25-1. Always bringing up the rear.
Really good.
The Cleveland Browns. I think every year we're flummoxed by Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, or Baltimore, and Baltimore's out of it this year. But do you guys, if you had to pick Pittsburgh or Cincinnati?
I would go Cincinnati. I like them at 2-1. I think the Le'Veon Bell thing is not great. I think Martavis Bryant thing is not great.
Not great.
And I did like Pittsburgh, like going into the year, and then I looked at this, and there's really no reason Cincinnati should be worse off than they are. Yeah, they lost like Jones and Sanu at the wideout position, but this Tyler Boyd's supposed to be dynamite.
He's on my team.
I like their schedule. Yep, you stole them from me.
Yeah.
They keep re-signing like Pac-Man Jones, like guys like that, leaders like that, and it just works out for them.
And they also, House, remember the playoff game when they had the game won and then the stupid linebacker did stupid things and then all of a sudden they lost the playoff game and changed the AFC playoff picture and it led to my team not making the Super Bowl? Remember that?
I do remember that, yes.
Cincinnati's good. They were good at football last year. I keep track. We always keep track of like legitimate wins versus either or wins
Right.
and then losses. Like they were 9-1-6 last year. They only had one legitimate loss. They had 9 legitimate wins, and then 6 games that could have gone either way.
Well, and they had McCarron in there, and he almost won some of those tough games.
I got to say, I don't understand why they're not the favorites in this division.
It
I don't
scares
get it.
me a little. I think it's backed me off a little bit.
It's only, House, do you think Vegas feels like not having Martavis Bryant on the roster is actually good for the Steelers because maybe he was stoned all the time and it was always offering the other people hits off the vape, and now that's not. That's the only explanation I have. That should make them worse.
People love Pittsburgh. That's all. Vegas just sets the number to make sure they get the action on Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh is one of those America's teams. I love Cincinnati also for all the reasons that you and the Cubs just went through. The bet that I'm going to make on Cincinnati is the over, which I'm seeing at minus 105, a delightful price. Over 9.5 for Cincinnati. I'm in on that.
And that's they were 12-4 last year. McCarron running around at the end there, and that's a good drop off, 12-9. If you want to take the under, you're really risking it there. I think over 9.5 is the way to go.
Here's the other thing, Sal. No offense. I mean no offense whatsoever with the following comment. The AFC North plays the NFC East.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think the NFC East is very good. Mm-hmm. So that's good for Cincinnati. Their 4 games are against, they could be going against some of these other divisions.
On the road at Cowboys and Giants, yeah.
They have some tough road games.
They have a London game against House.
Yeah, I hate the London
Skins.
game. Yeah. They have, they're at Houston, they're at Dallas, they're at New England, and they're at Pittsburgh, and they have the stupid London game. Those are their 4 toughest ones. I'd be shocked if they didn't go 10-6.
Right.
And I actually liked some of the stuff they did, and their defensive line's still good. I don't know.
Is that your over? Is that your?
Yeah, I would go over with them. I have no feel for the Ray. I was reading one thing on ESPN's NFL Nation had the best thing and the worst thing about each team.
Yeah.
And for the Ravens, it was special teams. I'm like, oh, sounds like 5-11.
That was the best.
Yeah, a great kicker and punter.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, good luck with that.
5-11 last year, and they jacked that up to 8.5. I don't think you could take over there. That's really rough. Their last 4 at New England, Philly, at Pittsburgh, and at Cincy. But my over under, I'm going Browns under. There's always I'm saying they're under 4.5. There's always a 3-13 team. There's always 2 of them. This is going to be one of them. They bring the baseball guy in there, Deep Podesta in there. This is a rebuilding year. Every year is a rebuilding year for the Browns. Their bye is week 13, which they may not even have a bye. Yeah. Forget it. They're going to be so out of it by then.
We may not have a country by week 13.
Exactly.
President Trump might have eliminated football.
And our parlay, yeah. And they'll be 2-10 by then. I go under 4.5 there.
I was looking at their schedule, and it's actually a shockingly hard schedule for a team that is always in last place. Yeah. They don't have a lot of easy games. I agree.
And 5 of the first 7 are on the road.
Let's give House 30 seconds to talk about his feelings about RG3 and the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, so Bob Griffin, I was prepared to take the over with Cleveland until Bob took a direction that I don't approve of. Bob made great fanfare of his marriage when he arrived here in Washington, D.C. to a college sweetheart, and the two of them had a little boy, I believe. I'm not sure whether he's even 1 year old. As the summer progresses, and the stories about Bob Griffin's re-emergence, his possible ascendance, his revisiting the skill set that had him on the tip of everybody's tongue his rookie season. The news is out that he is leaving his wife and his brand new baby for another blonde bombshell, and this girl is on his arm on the Instagram. TMZ is tracking him around. So I'm out on the RG3 and I'm out on the Browns.
But you're in on monogamy and marriage. Joe,
I'm happily married.
That's great.
And then I'm glad for monogamy.
Listen, people come for this football podcast for your thoughts on monogamy and marriage. Yeah. I'm glad.
The Browns,
so you think this is bad karma?
They need a TMZ list quarterback. I don't know what they have to do to get there, but they're on quite a run now with this.
What kind of karma are you risking with dumping your wife for a blonde bombshell? Yeah, and then also being on the Browns.
Right. Exactly.
How does the karma work now? Did the Cavs eliminate the Browns karma, or do the Browns have their own karma?
I think your quarterback did something similar, but it kind of worked
out.
Well, he did.
Wow. They were broken up.
Let's not pretend.
Yeah, they were broken up. Come on.
I'm talking about Jimmy Garoppolo.
He said,
Jimmy.
Have you seen Jimmy? I mean, he's so handsome.
Is he?
Such a handsome quarterback.
Is he going to be your crush?
No, it's just very handsome guy. I mean, I think handsome people can lead a football team.
That's what
they were saying the same thing about Matt Castle 5 years ago.
Yeah, we went 11-5 with Matt Castle.
That's unbelievable.
AFC South. Even because the offshore casinos don't know what to do with this. Indianapolis plus.
Do we really have to talk about the AFC South?
No, we'll brush it over. Indianapolis plus 180, Houston plus 220, Jacksonville plus 260. There's some Jacksonville buzz, which I'm enjoying, and then Tennessee's plus 800. I actually like Houston. I like Osweiler, and I don't know if I'm tainted by that Sunday night game when he just destroyed the Pats, but I think he's competent. I think he's better than Hoyer, and if I had gun to my head, I would pick them, but I would not bet on any of these teams. What do you think, Sal?
I think we're going to learn a lot from the Texans in that Week 3 game against the Patriots. If they can't go on the road and beat Jimmy Garoppolo with that defense, then they're going to have trouble. They play a first-place schedule. I'm leery of teams that play a first-place schedule and weren't that dominant last year, and they kind of were lucky to win the division. Their road games are New England, Minnesota, Green Bay, Oakland, and Denver. They're on a short week 4 times. I don't know. Osweiler has a little over 600 snaps. I don't know that I trust him over, and I think 8.5 is a big number. I would go under. That's my under for the division.
What do you think, S?
I like them slightly over. I like them at 9 wins again. I like them to win the division again. Mainly an anti-Indy point of view. I think the Colts are going to stink again this year. I don't think they did anything to shore up the offensive line. And I think poor Andrew Luck is in for another round of beatings this season. So 9 wins for Houston and plus 220 to win the division is the way I would go.
I hate the Colts, so I'm the wrong person to ask.
Yeah. From
years of Peyton Manning, and then the fact that they were the rats with Deflategate, which turned out not to even be a scandal, and yet somehow was. With that said, Their defense is
Can't believe you're
terrible.
saying this. Go ahead.
They have the worst GM in the league.
Yeah.
They're terrible at drafting players. They're terrible at paying the right amounts for free agents.
Yeah.
They haven't had a 100-yard rusher in 56 games.
Mm-hmm.
Their offensive line always sucks. Andrew Luck gets pounded and actually got hurt last year.
Yeah.
And they were going to fire their coach up until week 17. Then all of a sudden you got an extension. Like, that team's a mess. How are they the favorites in that division? I think it's ludicrous.
I don't get it. I think they flipped a coin or a four-sided coin for this one. But I just don't know who else to take. Like, I don't like the Texans. You guys like the Texans. The Jags, they're the sweetheart of the division. Everybody's darling.
No.
I don't know. Very young.
I like Houston.
Quick
I think
defensively.
Osweiler's going to be good. I would go. I wouldn't bet on anything in this division.
Stay
so
away.
let's move on.
It's
Do you
probably
agree,
smart.
House? Stay
Yeah.
away from the AFC South.
Stay away.
Tate, you agree with that? Tate nods sadly.
Team Titans, though.
AFC West. Yeah, the Titans, I guess if you're going to say, who's my long shot, my stupid long shot bet, I just want to bet on somebody with ridiculous odds and hope they win.
Yeah.
You might as well throw $100 down on the Titans plus 800 to win the division because they're not any better or worse than any of those other teams.
Yeah, not bad. Another week, bye week of 13, which is ridiculous. Mariota has trouble throwing deep, but
I don't like that coach.
Yeah.
AFC West, Denver plus 200, KC plus 200, Oakland plus 280. The Chargers getting some tiny bit of sleeper buzz at plus 750. Not reflected in that sleeper buzz. Why aren't the Chiefs the best team?
I think they are.
Yeah.
I really do. I think they're a 12 or 13 win team. I think this is the year where, they have years where they're 8-1 and they can't finish it off in the playoffs. I think they go far this year. And
I don't like when we agree on all of our.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I
That's
guess we
bad.
disagreed on Houston,
yeah, we did.
Indianapolis. I just think KC's
You love
good,
the
and
Chiefs?
I just think they should be the favorite in the division. Trevor Siemian, come on.
Yeah, and like the Raiders, like that number is like everybody's betting the Raiders. Everybody loves them. They have 5 1 p.m. games.
I do like the
three of their
Raiders.
first 4 on the road. It's tough. They lost leaders, Tuck and Woodson. Obviously, they scored in free agency, but I don't know. That's a high over under 8.5 for them.
House.
So the Chargers are my dark horse long shot. The guys that, it's not really rational, but I like their over 7.5 is minus 105, plus 300 to make the playoffs. I'm not looking at them to win the division because I don't think they can jump both Denver and the Chiefs. But the Chargers, 10 of 12, their losses last year were one-possession games. I like bringing in Travis Benjamin. If their secondary can stay healthy, Jason Verrett and Brandon Flowers, that's as good a secondary as any you find in the AFC. So I like the Chargers in this season when they're kind of playing for their franchise life. They want to stay in San Diego. The people of San Diego want them there. I'm going to put a little action on San Diego just because I like the odds. But I don't, I like them at kind of 9 or 10 wins.
Wow.
I like the Chiefs.
Fourth place schedule also for San Diego, which is a help.
House 4-12 last year, and they're over under 7.5. I will say Rivers, Ken Wisenhunt's back at the offensive coordinator. Rivers was his best in 2013 under Wisenhunt. So
Ken Wisenhunt after just a sterling track record in
but
Tennessee.
that's what happens. Yeah, they're better as coordinators.
It's an abomination.
I know.
Kansas City last year, 11 legitimate wins. 11 wins where they convincingly won the game. I liked them. I just think the Pats were a bad matchup for them. And even in that game, like they had their moments.
They
It
were in there in
wasn't
the
a
fourth
blowout.
quarter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they lingered.
Listen, they have no running back could get hurt and kill them.
Right.
Alex Smith is finding receivers. Offensively, it's nice. They signed 3 of their 5 free agents: Derek Johnson, Tom Hall, and Howard. I think they're in good shape there.
Guys, I'm about to go on a rant. It's
ahead.
going to get a little bitter in here.
What is it?
I just want to remind everyone what a garbage season Denver had last year and that they were the worst Super Bowl champions we've ever had. They played 16 regular season games last year and had 4 legitimate wins. Peyton Manning pulled football wins not even just out of his asshole. Like he put his whole arm in his body and reached into his intestines, like
Right.
where they go when you're getting a colonic, and pulled wins out of his, like, not even, what's the intestine above the other intestine?
Well, I mean, I think even further up.
Maybe even in his lungs.
Past his
He pulled
surgically
winds
impaired
out of his
neck.
lungs.
Esophagus?
Yeah.
They
Is it
go
the
to the
esophagus?
They go to the playoffs. Who's the Steelers running back who's probably
Was
now
it
out of the
Toussaint?
league?
Was it, no.
The Steelers are driving for the go-ahead touchdown. The game's over because Peyton Manning, all he's doing is throwing lob passes to
Right.
5 people at the same time. Guy fumbles. They somehow sneak by that. Cincinnati knocks itself out of the playoffs because of the perfect.
Right.
And then the Patriots in that AFC title game, which I may or may not have watched again during the offseason just to get mad all over again.
Mm-hmm.
We did 90 things wrong in that game. We played the worst possible game we've ever played. We did not get a break, and we still almost won. And Brady missed a wide open Gronkowski on the safety to tie the game.
2 point
Manny
play.
made 2 throws the whole game.
Yeah.
And then in the Super Bowl, the defense was awesome. We bet on it. We jumped on them in that point. Clearly, some greater forces were at work.
Right.
But
Something
I
happened,
just don't
though.
understand how they're going to be as good this year as they were last year. Everything went right for them last year. Every single thing.
Yeah, they want to be further along in the quarterback game than they are right now. But there's something even happened week 17 for them to get the 1 seed. Who had something
Steve.
weird
I mean, it was,
happen.
it
They
was
were
4
losing
months
their
of
chance.
it. We were
Yeah.
like every week I'd come on the podcast and
Right.
complain about it.
I know.
I was like, I've
love
never
it.
seen a horseshoe season in the history of football like this.
It's bad.
I mean, look, luck's part of the game. They were the better team in the Super Bowl. Their defense was awesome.
Yeah.
And their defense is going to be very good again.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things. They'll score 16, and they just have to score 16 to win. I think a lot of these games.
I've just been following football for my entire life.
Yeah.
And usually when you have a season like that, it doesn't transfer to the next season, that kind of luck.
Right.
So I like KC plus 200, and I like the over for 9.5 wins. House, I disagree on San Diego for this reason. Isn't Mike McCoy still their coach?
A leading contender for first to be fired. That is definitely the case.
I don't even know if I would hire, like, we need another podcast producer right now. Joe Fuentes and Tate working big hours, and we need somebody a little creative. If Mike McCoy is like, I'm ready to leave the Chargers, I want to throw myself into the podcast business and learn how to produce podcasts. I'd be like, I don't know, Mike. You can't even manage the clock. I'm honestly not
Really?
sure if you can handle my podcast.
Exactly. We'd be
I
doing
can't-
podcasts for 6 hours. You wouldn't even tell us.
You can't even handle a 2-minute drill. You're gonna produce a podcast.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Mike McCoy.
It's tough.
I think he's way underqualified for that job. I do not believe in him. And
Well, it's
also,
a long
like,
shot bet.
also one more thing about them, really depressing football situation.
with where they're going to end. I thought they were
Just like-
signing autographs
they're
till
like-
4 a.m. last year. I thought they knew they were gone. Like,
Every year they don't know
Yeah.
if they're gonna have a team or not.
Yeah, I know.
And that just lingers over the whole season like a stale fart.
It's probably not great. They
all
didn't
right.
have a great home record.
No,
Like,
they have the
didn't.
worst home field advantage
Yeah.
in the league.
And
I'm
one
out
of the
on
worst
them.
run defenses too. They're lucky they signed Bosa the other day.
I'm trying to restrain my excitement on Oakland because they look like a total bandwagon pick.
Yeah.
And I get it, but man, they have a lot of blue chippers in that team.
They do.
You go down that list and they have probably the second best offensive line in the league after yours, Dallas.
agree. Yeah.
They have a quarterback who can make plays. They have a running back who could run the ball. They have receivers who can make plays.
Yep.
They have impact guys on defense, including Khalil Mack, who is, when we get to Defensive Player of the Year futures,
Why
I think
not?
is in the conversation.
I think so too. They added three starters are added in the secondary, like blue chippers. They're going to be good.
I like the over for them, 8.5, and I think they make the playoffs. I think they're a wild card
Really?
team. Yeah, I think there's 2 playoff teams out of this division.
Yeah. I think there's one. and
I'm just
3.
worried about Derek Carr.
I like them.
He needs to. What's the most important game he's played in so far in his career?
You know
I mean,
what?
what's been the most pressure-filled game?
He didn't know that I had a parlay on this game, but to me, it was the most pressure-filled game. But I remember he had a late TD where he led this drive, and I felt confident. I felt like he was going to come through for me. I
Can't even
really
remember.
did. I
You
can't
can't even remember the game.
Now they all blend together. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's talk about NFLSundayTicket.tv. Hey, Sal. Remember, it seems like a million years ago, but it might have only been 8. Our cousin Jimmy Kimmel,
Yeah.
for Christmas, I think, or your birthday, bought you DirecTV in a suitcase.
Yeah. No, it was a million. You're right. It was a million.
It was a million years ago.
Yeah,
And it was DirecTV. You open it up like a suitcase.
Yeah.
And you could get all the games. And we thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then streaming happened. And within 2 years, it was in your garage.
Yeah, you had to point it exactly towards one of the planets for it to work.
Right.
And
Well, now you can just stream football games.
Really?
I've been waiting for this forever. If you're a fan who can't get DirecTV where you live, there's great news. You can still watch football games every Sunday without a satellite for just $49.99 a month.
Oh, my God.
You can stream games using your favorite device. You don't need a satellite anymore. If you're a college student, which you're not, you once were, there's an exclusive deal. You get NFL Sunday Ticket for only $24.99
Wow.
a month. Yeah, they care about the kids in college.
Yeah.
Right now, our listeners get an extra 10% off when using the promo code RINGER. So go to NFLSundayTicket.tv. Use promo code RINGER right now. Sunday Ticket. Streaming.
I love it.
All right, back to the pod. All right, we're going to the NFC. Want to save the NFC East for last, or do you want to get over
No,
it?
let's get it out of the way,
All right.
please.
Let's knock it out.
Giants plus 200, Washington plus 235, Dallas plus 275. This whole we're going to be fine with Dak Prescott, who was a fourth rounder and nobody had any idea he was going to play this year. And now everybody's excited about it. Is absolutely insane, but I'll roll with it. And then Philly plus 600. House, we'll start with you. Can Washington win the NFC East?
Of course they can.
Okay.
Not only can they, I believe they will, and I'm going to allocate some capital in that direction. I love them at plus 235. I love their over. 7.5 is only minus 105. That's fantastic. Plus 190 to make the playoffs. Last time I checked, you win the division, you make the playoffs. I'm putting capital on every single one of those. Kirk Cousins, 24 full NFL games, averaging 279.8 yards. That's good enough for second in NFL history, right behind only Drew Brees at 280.7. DC Gruden's, I'm all in. And you know why? It's because it's the preseason. They haven't played a game yet.
You did catch one break. You got Dallas in week 2 at home.
Yeah.
Normally
That's
that
a
would be,
break.
yeah, that's a legitimate break. You're
House,
winning that game.
I think you lose your first three. Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh, Dallas,
Oh,
and at
Sal.
the Giants. I'm sorry. 0-3.
Sal,
2-1.
serious question about Dallas.
Yeah.
Because I think the Romo injury and the Dak Prescott, I keep calling him Zach.
You'll get it right.
I'll get it right eventually.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott.
It doesn't matter.
Isn't the defense still kind of
Yeah,
lousy?
it's bad.
Okay.
It's bad.
So you have
And
a lousy defense and a quarterback who was a fourth rounder.
And 3 of our defensive players, our better defensive players, are suspended. 2 of them for the first 4 games, and then 1 for 10, I think.
So Barnwell had this in his column.
yeah.
Shout out to Barnwell. He'll be the third real fourth rounder to start as a rookie. Steve Berline, I'm not counting him
Right.
because he was hurt for a year. The other 3,
I know what this is.
Mike Pagel and Chris Wenke were combined 1 and 22,
Right.
fourth round rookie QBs, and then Kyle Orton, the neckbeard, 11 and 5 for the Bears.
Yeah.
So you're banking he's Kyle Orton.
Let's say Romo's out the first 6. I mean, you think you're more confident in Garoppolo than you would be Dak Prescott behind the best line of scrimmage in the game.
Yeah.
Behind the best offensive line. Not the line
Garoppolo's
of
been in the
scrimmage.
league for 4 years.
What has he done?
Zach Prescott was a fourth rounder.
Zach Prescott.
That's when you're like drafting
You
punters.
stop this. Stop this.
Zach
now.
Prescott.
I don't know. Russell Wilson wasn't high on anybody's board. Look, I understand. Like we
I love
lucked
it.
in.
Wow, you're
We
all in. I
lucked
love
in.
this. I
But let
love
me
it.
ask you.
I love it
All
so
right,
much.
Let me just ask you this. Everyone says the preseason doesn't matter. Would the Rams trade Jared Goff for Dak Prescott right now?
No.
You don't think
What
so?
are you talking about?
You don't think so? Really?
You
No, no
insane?
chance.
House, they wouldn't?
Dak Prescott.
Okay. All right.
The Rams are funny, though.
What about-
Jared Goff stinks.
What about
Jared Goff
after,
might
after
stink.
2 games? You're going to change your. I'm going to remember that question. But the Cowboys over under went from 9.5 to 8
I think it should have
because
gone
of
lower.
Romo. You're going to
Yeah.
go. You go under. Would that be your? What's your over under?
I wouldn't bet on it because Romo's just crazy enough to be back in like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Or he might never play again. I have no feel for it.
Told me he's coming back with a vengeance.
I
He's
do love
spelled
your
it
running
right
back.
and everything.
I love
Yeah.
your running back.
Yeah.
And if you ride, you're going to have 2 great offensive football players on the field at the same time in every game, and
Gonna
that's
score
why I
points.
wouldn't. That's why I wouldn't bet the under.
All right.
I think when I saw Elliott knock Cam Chancellor back in
Yeah.
that preseason game, I was like, oh, I'm spending $50 on him in my fantasy draft.
That's a guy.
I got excited.
He's on the way to his dispensary, and he's getting that edge quickly.
Yeah.
He's not screwing around.
I'm staying away from this division
Really?
If I had to bet on one of the teams, I would bet the Giants.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I like what they did. I actually think that Tom Coughlin to anybody who's awake upgrade. I don't even know who the new Giants coach is.
Ben McAdoo.
Yeah,
Yep.
Ben McAdoo.
I'm with
I thought
you.
Coughlin was done 2 years ago. He was just great career, 2 Super Bowls. Kudos to him. He was done. Put a fork in him, and that's got to be worth 2 wins.
And I hate them like you hate the Colts, but I'm going over 8 minus 135.
8 seems low.
They built their defense, signed 2 top 10 free agent defensive linemen. They got Olivia Vernon. They have Janoris Jenkins at cornerback. Offense, I don't know, Victor Cruz or not. I like that guy Shepard. I think they're going to score points.
I'd like to
It's
see
gonna be
Victor
enough.
Cruz right again.
Yeah?
Yeah, he hasn't written a book in a couple years. I was just ready for another Victor. It's like Malcolm
Oh, I
Gladwell,
thought
how
you
he
meant-
releases a book every 2 years or so. I think Victor Cruz, I'm ready for another one.
I thought you meant right, R-I-G-A. I want
No.
to see him right. Like, okay.
House, what division, if you added up their over-under for wins, had the lowest combined total for the 4 teams?
Last year?
No, right now.
Oh.
Oh, is it AFC South?
No,
That'd be my
they
guess.
were second worst. They had 30.5 if you added them up. The NFC East was the worst at 30.
Wow.
The 4
That's
teams
just
combined were
haters.
30.
Really?
That's just haters.
It's a bad division.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone gets to 11 wins in that division, and I think 10 could be tough.
I believe you. I don't know. I
Jay-
don't know
is
what
Jay
to say.
Gruden still-
They all
Jay Gruden's
stink
still your
again.
coach,
The Giants
House.
are going to win the division.
The Eagles have no running backs. Very bad running back group. They're, I don't see how they put together more than 8 wins.
House, you have some stinkers on your schedule. Like the Browns and the Ravens are on there. That's good. You got Chicago.
I'm telling you, I like the over. I am
Okay.
gonna allocate some capital to over 7.5.
All right. This
That's
division's
just
too
8
confusing.
wins. They're an 8-8 team. That makes sense.
Last 3 house for you: Carolina, at Chicago, and the Giants.
So basically,
easy.
the
You
Giants Redskins will decide that division probably week
I don't
17.
think so.
That's right.
No, Tony
makes
Romo
sense.
will decide it in week 10. But
Do you think Romo will be the color analyst for that game on
stop
Fox?
it. Why would you say such a thing?
10 give me 10-1 odds.
He could-
10-1 odds.
He's going to have some
You know
great
what?
things to say about Poop Prescott.
I think he will.
Prescott.
He'll be the color analyst and he'll be the winning quarterback. He could do it all. He'll do every single thing.
That is, I mean, the one silver lining in this Romo thing is
Yeah.
if this does lead to the end soon, he's the next Barkley. I'm calling it now.
Right.
I think he'll be amazing.
You
on
think he's
TV.
going to weigh 350 pounds?
No, I don't think he'll weigh as much as Barkley,
I
but
see.
I think he'll be
Yeah.
great. So, NFC North, I'm sure these odds have changed once the Bridgewater news comes out. But this morning it was Green Bay plus 180, Minnesota plus 200, Chicago 20-1, Detroit 30-1.
Yeah,
Detroit 30-1.
They
That
took
seemed-
all that off, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't even know what to make of this. I
was going to go Vikings under.
I
really
was too. I was too.
Now, I don't know what that number will be, but the Lions aren't going to be.
Announced Bridgewater.
What?
What is it?
Dislocated knee and ACL tear.
No
No contact when it happened.
Terrible.
dislocated knee ACL tear for
That's
Bridgewater.
what Nelson happened to Nelson last year.
That's too
basically with the whole, yeah.
So,
Well, I think the
I'm gonna-
Packers run away with this now, right?
well, let me
I mean,
flip
why
this
not?
around.
That's what I think, too.
Yeah,
You know I love playing this game. Are we sure the Packers are good?
why not?
Okay.
I think the whole narrative of Aaron Rodgers makes everybody good around him. Maybe we could scale back on that a little. I think Jordy Nelson was more valuable than everybody thought. He's back.
You definitely need one guy who can
Yeah,
stretch the field a little and make some plays.
Fat Eddie is just maybe a little chubby
Yes.
Eddie now. Is all right. I don't know.
He's
Not the P90X
trimmer
guy
Eddie.
I remember. Yeah, right.
No James Jones yet.
No.
They'll sign him at some point.
No, but they do that thing. They don't. A rare unrestricted free agent signing was Cook for the tight end of the Rams. They got him, and then they draft well. They do. They know what they're doing.
It's funny, like, if they had an owner, I think McCarthy would have been fired 2 years ago, and the owner would have gone in the offseason and spent crazy money on a whole bunch of guys. But because they're owned by the entire
Whole city, yeah.
McCarthy gets to stay forever, and it's like, oh, we signed Jared Cook.
Yeah.
It's like their big signing.
Everybody.
They just kind of run it back every year.
and how does everybody in the city? It has to be a unanimous vote.
Right.
Everybody in the city has to say the coach leaves.
Right.
From the coach
It's not
leaves.
even like Survivor where
No.
there's like
No,
a...
if there's one dissent.
Yeah, I didn't love Green Bay last year.
No.
And they always look disheveled to me. I'm not sold on McCarthy at all. and I can't really think of anybody else who can win this division.
Well, every year the Bears want to trick you into thinking
No, they're a year away from being a year away.
They have the easiest schedule in the league.
Yeah.
All 1 p.m. Eastern games after their bye. I write down really stupid things. But
Well, the one thing I did notice with them, because I was trying to make this case in my head,
yeah.
like if they somehow win at Houston in week 1, every week 1 somebody
Right.
stupid wins on the road against somebody. Mm-hmm. Then they're home for Philly Monday night. Then they have Zach Prescott on Sunday night, or Dak Prescott.
unbelievable.
Now I'm just doing
Prescott.
it. Now I'm just doing it. But they're at Dallas, but they don't get Romo for week 3, and then they're home for Detroit week 4. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Let me ask you
Little
something
momentum?
while I have the Zach thing in my head. So I named my middle child Jack Romo. I
Yeah.
gave him the Romo nickname not long after the Seattle loss, the botch snap, whatever.
Yes.
I was like, this is going to inspire him. It's not
Yeah.
going to, why I could always name him Joe Montana. What's the sense of that?
Right.
So now, do I change it to Jack Prescott or Jack Dak?
Jack Dak, I
I kind of like Jack Dak.
Jack Dak. Maybe that should be your nickname for him.
He's
Jack Dak.
quirky enough. I don't think I could do that.
There's no chance in hell that the Lions are going to be good?
That's my under right there.
Okay.
7-9 last year. They've come back with a 7 for an over/under this year. I don't know. Stafford had his lowest grade as a quarterback since his rookie year last year, and that's with Calvin Johnson. No Calvin Johnson this year. 3 of the first 4 on the road to start. At Indy, Tennessee, at Green Bay, at Chicago. I think that's 1-3. That's a bad start for a not very good team.
House, do you have an NFC
Yeah.
North bet?
The only likable thing about Detroit is Golden Tate, and as a fantasy player, that's the only thing that's worth paying any attention to.
Okay.
I have a very boring point of view when it comes to NFC North, and I had it even before Teddy got hurt today. I wish he hadn't got hurt, but I just think Green Bay last year was such an aberration in terms of the injuries and
Yeah.
the slew of receivers unable to separate. It was such a weird narrative. They still have Aaron effing Rodgers,
Yeah.
House,
top 3 quarterback in the NFL. If that's if I had to make a bet, I'm betting on Aaron Rodgers, and that's it.
Yep.
House, when I had Aaron Rodgers on the HBO show, I didn't ask him about his loser brother who's on The Bachelorette. And my thinking was, he has this brother who's taking advantage of his celebrity. And I don't know, I just don't like the brother.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? If this guy was my brother, I wouldn't want to go on a TV show and be asked about him.
Yeah.
And then I've been battling with it ever since, whether I should have asked him. House, you have 2 loser brothers.
Oh.
We have never asked you about them on the podcast. Do you feel like it's made our podcast better or worse?
Why don't you have
We've
him on the
talked about
HBO
my
show?
brothers before. The thing
is
that
true.
I
was called the
would go
Black
to
Sheep
with
Brothers.
both of them. At this stage of life, they can both out eat me. I bet the 2 of them could put up a nice contest against Danny Chow. That's the only thing I can say about my brothers.
Shout out to the House Brothers.
really
I love the House
sweet.
Brothers.
That's
I had to
really
do that. NFC South, Carolina minus 250, Tampa plus 750, New Orleans plus 750, Atlanta plus 800, which to me was the most perplexing, shocking division odds of anything, because I actually liked Atlanta. I liked them last year, and they were like a year away.
Yeah.
I liked the coach. I don't think he did a great job last year, but
They lost some dumb close games.
they
That
did.
was-
And maybe Matt Ryan's just not good. I mean, maybe that's just
Right.
where we are. But plus 800 seems kind of crazy. Is that the best value, or am I nuts?
That's high. So they're over under 7.5. They have 4 of the first 5 road games. They're really tough. It's a
Yeah.
tough schedule, I thought, that they had. But
I'm just
love
concerned
it.
about just penciling in Carolina after they lost the Super Bowl, and we've seen the history of these teams that lose the Super Bowl, and weird stuff always happens next year.
That's my over in the division. I know that's
Carolina?
It's,
Okay.
it's a little bit of a cheat, but 15-1
Yeah.
is astounding. And to drop them to 10.5 as the over/under, I think they get to 12. Like Norman might be a big loss, but they're like a product of their front 7 schemes, their secondary. But they have 7 games on 8 days rest. I really like them. I think they're good, and we like Benjamin, right? He was a
Yeah.
beast the first year.
Yeah. My red flags are up
Yeah.
But like, how far can you fall from 15-1
Right.
would be the counter to it.
Yeah,
Like,
you
even if
only
they're
need
4 wins worse, they're still 11-5.
That's a month's worth of losses that
Right.
you have to get more than to
Yeah,
get down to
yeah.
10.5.
What do you think?
And
guys?
it's even odds, which is incredible
Right.
to me. You don't have to pay for the over.
So they're
It's
at
wonderful.
they're at Denver opening night in Tyler
a
Simeon's
lot.
first start. Well, Tyler Simeon's first start, that might be a win.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they win that. I mean,
And then they're home for San Francisco, and then home week 3 for Sean Hill and the Vikings. And then they're
Goodness
at
gracious.
Atlanta, home Tampa, at New Orleans bye week. They could be 6-0.
I love this over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
slamming
you talked
this
me
over.
into it. You
Yeah.
talked me into it. So
it flies in the face of everything I think of, like these teams that are not that good that have first place schedules the next year. They were 7-8-1 the year before last, and then they came in with a first place schedule and still dominated. I think they're that good.
And people are trying to get a tiny bit excited about the Saints. I don't see it. I don't think Sean Payton's ever been the same since he took a year off.
Yeah.
I think these guys are trained to just work their asses off when you're a head coach and have no life, and
Right.
that's all you do, and you don't even. It's almost like it's like the boy in the plastic bubble who knows no life, and then Sean Payton has that year off, and he's like going to high school games. He's
Right.
having dinner with his wife on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever been the same. I think it just ruined him. You
Yeah.
can't just go back to working 90 hours a week again. He got a glimpse of this whole other world.
Right.
It's like, oh, look at this. Oh, yeah, let's go to the park. That'll be great.
Yeah. It's like the time House and I went from sushi to pizza in 3
Right.
minutes.
It's just like that.
We're able to do it.
All right,
no,
you-
but they allowed more rushing and passing yards than any other team last year, and their big free agent signing was a tight end. They're not going in the right direction.
And Tampa, who I tried to talk myself into last year, I just can't do it with Lovie Smith. I just can't. I'm sorry, Lovie.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I just don't think you're a competent football coach. And that team was so sloppy last year and had so many dumb. Between that and I want to like Jameis. I think he's a year away. I could see him throwing away a couple close games. I believe down the road with him. I think there's something about him.
Yeah. He has those gigantic receivers. He's got a lot of nice weapons, and I think they set the franchise record for total yards last year. But first two at Atlanta, at Arizona, I think they're 0-2.
Yeah, I could see them being the team that's in games and could have won and foils a tease, and almost like how the Rams were for a couple years,
Right.
where the Rams were 7-9, but like 5 of the 7 wins were against great teams.
Yeah. I think both South divisions are stayaways. Everyone too, like AFC South and NFC South.
I agree with
Yeah.
that.
Right, like gambling wise.
Yeah. NFC West, Seattle -120, Zona +140. The LA Rams 15-1,
That's weird.
and then the San Francisco 49ers 30-1. They might as well be 600,000 to 1.
Yeah,
Guys, I love the Seahawks.
you do. Huh?
Yeah, I
Oh,
do. I love the
interesting.
Seahawks. They're -120. I think that Carson Palmer, I don't think he's ever going to be the same from that playoff game. I don't.
He's in the MVP talk last year.
I don't.
One playoff
It's in
game?
his head. I think you can get
was
scarred by
hurt.
that. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care. You can't change how I feel.
Wow. All right.
I think Wilson is an MVP candidate.
This is all Russell, hustle, and bustle.
I like Lou.
Yeah,
Rawls.
it is.
I like
Yeah.
Lou, former jazz
man muscle love.
R&B singer Lou Rawls as the running back. I think it's going to be great. I think, they went 10-6 last year, and if you play that season 20 times, 10-6 is the worst outcome for that team. They were so talented. It was a weird year, fluky year, just whatever. And I don't know. I just think they're going to be really good.
Remember when Seattle, when they lost at home, it was a huge deal.
Yeah.
Like they're going 8-0 at home 3-4 years ago. Now it's like it's not a big deal if they lose. They were 5-3 at home last year. They lose Lynch, obviously. Rawls is nice, but every year they lose a piece of their defense, and it's Bruce Irvin this year. I don't know. I don't think they tank, but I think they're around 9 or 10. I think Arizona's right in there with them.
First 5, Miami, at LA, San Francisco, at the Jets, bye week, home for Atlanta. That feels like 5-0 heading into
Really?
week 6 at Zona. Yeah. Then,
Pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't love their offensive line. I don't know. There's weird things with this team. I don't know what it is.
all right. I'm glad we disagree.
Good.
It's always better when we disagree because I don't like Arizona.
No, I think
I think they fall off.
I don't think anyone runs away with this. This is a good division. It always has been, except, well, maybe for those bottom 2 teams we'll get to.
I wish the Rams had a QB because I like the talent on their team,
Yeah.
and it's just not going to happen with Case Keenum and Jared Goff. What do you think, House?
I agree. The funniest moment of Hard Knocks was Jeff Fisher in Week 1 saying we're not going to go 7-9 again, and he's right because they're going to go 6-10.
Arizona has the highest odds on an over/under of anyone.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Their over/under is 9.5, and it's minus 235 to bet on the over.
Bump that to 10.
They
already.
won't bump it to 10.
What
So
does it have to go to? Like minus 600? Like what? I don't understand.
Yeah, so if you want to win $100 in that, you have to sacrifice 235.
Right.
Yet they won't move it up. It's like they know
So
something.
that's what's got.
They know
right?
something. And how do we know Carson Palmer's going to play 2 straight healthy seasons?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
When
I'm
they,
worried about
when
that
they beat
team.
up on your Patriots by 3.5 touchdowns, it's Week 1.
Garoppolo's going to take his helmet off, and they're going to be so disarmed by his handsome looks.
What's your over under? So your Seattle's your over?
No, I don't have one in this division. I think I like Seattle to win it though. What do you have an over under house? You just have the under for the Rams?
I had the under for the Rams. The only thing I could that was attractive to me at all was the idea of Arizona winning the division. It's plus 140, so I don't like that at all. I mean, Arizona and Seattle are going to go neck and neck. Both of them could go 11-5. They could both go 10-6. I don't think because of the self-immolation. I mean, not the self-immolation. They're going to cannibalize wins in that division. So I'm not going to do anything action-wise on the NFC West.
I'm with you, House. Although I think I am going to do something, and it's the Rams. Rams 7 wins last year. They have them at 7.5 this year. I think they're around 5 or 6 this year. Bill, what happened of our first year in LA? Your first year in LA. It was a waste of time, right? We played that stupid video game in the green
It's
room.
tough. You can't adjust to it.
It's hard to adjust.
It's hard to
You got the
adjust.
TV
It's nice every
cameras on
day.
them. Yeah.
That football's coming on at 9:30 on Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, this team's going to have a tough time
Beautiful,
adjusting.
beautiful girls.
But look,
Right. Right.
You
They're in
have to
trouble
pay
with the
so
girls.
much for that under, cuz it's minus 235.
It is, right? But yeah,
I mean, I'm prepared to do it. I'm just saying it's going to be pricey for us.
I wish we could tease that, but to Bill's point, they're begging you to take the over there. The over is plus
Yeah,
190.
they really want
They have
it.
4
I won't do it.
1 p.m.
I won't
games.
do it.
They played in London against the Giants. That counts as a home game. They have the worst receivers in the league. I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, they extended Tavon Austin.
Yeah.
They gave him like $30 million
20, was it 30?
guaranteed. Yeah.
It's
It was
outrageous.
weird. It was like he's one of those guys who's like how Percy Harvin was, where you have to go out of your way to get him the ball. You
Yeah.
can't just run a route and get open. You have to like run these gimmick
all
plays
his
for him.
receptions are behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah.
We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and talk about futures here on the BS Podcast. Hey, if you've ever seen anything we've done in my office for Facebook Live, you probably noticed how nice my posters looked. That's because our friends at FrameBridge framed every single thing in there. And they're the best. Just go to framebridge.com, pick out a frame for your favorite Instagram for $39, a small photo for $59, and your standard movie poster for $139. You can upload digital photos. Their designers will even help you pick the perfect frame. They have experts that custom frame your items in days, not weeks, not months, days. Deliver your finished piece ready to hang, and they even offer a happiness guarantee. All shipping is free, and I gotta say, the TLC they put in their framing and packaging is absolutely incredible. One of my favorite companies. Find out why InStyle called them a genius site. Go to framebridge.com. Use promo code BS. You get 15% off your first order. Again, framebridge.com. Promo code BS. Back to the podcast. All right. Last but not least, my favorite part of this podcast, the futures. The MVP odds are great. It's the longest I've ever looked at the MVP odds. The best odds are 6-1 for Rodgers. I can't remember an MVP year where nobody was 5-1 or under.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Ben and Cam are set plus 700. Wilson's plus 800. Lux plus 1,000. Palmer 1,400. Brady 1,600. Eli 30-1. Derek Carr 60-1. Just throwing him out there. I mean, everybody's on there. My favorite one was Russell Hustle and Bustle at 8-1. Who do you like, Sal?
Who wasn't Luck? I think Luck was the favorite last year, and that went away really quickly. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers. I think he has something to prove. I think you may have been able to rattle him with a question about his brother, but you passed, so now he's moved on from that, and now he's focused.
I stand by it.
Yeah, no, I think so. But I also think he was waiting for you to ask him. I do get that. I thought he was a little bit guarded. It doesn't really matter in terms of my MVP vote. I like Aaron Rodgers at 6-1.
His brother was such a loser.
Yeah.
I
He just wasn't
They
the
just
biggest
bug me.
loser on that show. That's
No.
the thing.
House,
Who's up?
who do you have?
I have a dumb pick, and I hate that I'm about to make this selection, but I really like the odds. For 3/4 of a season, I can have Tom Brady at 16-1. Talk about the all-time FU season. Coming back from that 4-game suspension, has everything to prove. Stick it to the league. He's going to be on the banner every single week, 350 yards a week, Tom Brady. That's what he's going to need to get to MVP status. If they're going to win the division and have the bye week that they need going into the AFC playoffs, they need to go 12-4, 13-3. Tommy Brady and Billy Belichick pulling it together, 16-1 Tom Brady. I'm going to do that.
I really like that one because, like, let's say he goes 12-0.
Yeah, I was going to say you're kind of that bet is
He
dependent,
has to go 12-0.
dependent on the first 4 games. It depends on something he has no control over. I think you have to be 1-3 for Tom Brady to win the MVP.
I think it would be I think it would be funny though if he was like 11-0 and the MVP stuff started up and then all the talking heads started arguing about it and you get
Right.
the former football players getting really mad. You cannot be the MVP if
Right.
you've missed the first 4 games of the season. Oh, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
And you get a lot of that stuff.
I love it.
I like Wilson at 8-1 because if Seattle's good, it's going to be because he was freaking incredible. I didn't realize. I looked at our fantasy league last year just to see who had the most points. He had the 3rd most points last year in
He
our
did?
league. Yeah,
Yeah.
like with just everything he does. Remember how hot he got the last 9 games?
That makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know.
He
I
can
don't
win.
love
Yeah, they
any of
changed
those.
their offense, and Doug Baldwin caught 400 touchdown
Oh,
passes.
that was it. I mean, that is it. Are they going to be worse off with what's his name back? Graham? I don't know. Maybe he gets in the way.
All right, now it's time for the lock of the year. Normally, the Patriots to win the AFC East is the lock of the year. This year, we have a different lock of the year. It's the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Ezekiel Elliott is plus 130. I don't understand it. I don't know why he's not like minus 300. I look at the other names on the list. I'm not scared of any of them.
Right.
Dak, Prescott,
Good.
Jared Goff, Treadwell, Shepard, Derrick Henry's backing up DeMarco Murray, Tyler Boyd. I don't see how this is a minus 300, and I think he's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I hope you're right.
So
I
why
hope to
are
God you're
those the
right.
odds?
Dak was 40-1 before the announcement. Now he's 7-1. But
Still
I
a
don't
little
think-
rich for my blood.
I don't think you could give. Oh, so you're saying it's too low, or it should be lower?
I think Elliott should be like minus 300.
Can
to
they
win
really
the-
do that? Can they make one player a minus when there's so many?
What
others?
other player are you betting on?
He's never played a snap.
I know. I think one of the receivers has a shot this year.
Oh, stop
I do.
Come on.
I'm telling you. I like
Treadwell
Treadwell
just lost his quarterback.
Yeah. I like Tajay Sharp at 30-1. I like Devontae Booker, the running back, at 40-1. I think those are good value bets.
Devontae Booker. Okay.
Yeah, Broncos running back.
How's he like anyone?
Just Elliott. That's it. I know that's not very compelling.
I forgot to mention when we did the MVPs, only 4 running backs have won the MVP this century. Peterson, Tomlinson, Sean Alexander, asterisk, and then Marshall Faulk in 2000, if you're counting 2000 as part of the century. So if you're
Since
betting that, bet a
2000,
QB.
is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
bet the QBs on that. Coach of the Year. I looked up Coach of the Year to see if there's any rhyme or reason to this bet, because who the hell would bet on this other than people who have a gambling problem like us?
I can't even remember who won. Was it Rivera
So
one?
the last 4 years, Ron Rivera and Bruce Arians have traded Coach of the
really?
Years.
Wow.
And this year is Bruce Arians' turn because Rivera won last year. Harbaugh won. Belichick won in 2010. Marvin Lewis, Lovie Smith, Belichick in 2007. Sean Payton,
Wow.
and Lovie Smith.
I have to say, Panthers over-under is 10.5, coming off a 15-win season. Ron Rivera 11-1. Man, if they put together a 13-3 again, that's
Well, Zimmer's
right in the
out.
talk. Yeah.
What about Bill O'Brien at 50-1 if Houston has the random 11-5 season with Brock Osweiler?
Yeah.
Eh?
I guess. I don't love it.
Well, I didn't like any of these either.
It's funny, Bill O'Brien. Now that team's supposed to win 8-9 games, whatever. Chip Kelly is right there at 50-1.
You guys know who the best bet is, and you're just gonna wait until I say it to try to make me sound like a homer.
You like about 9-1.
They go 3-1 without Brady. He comes back. They go 13-3. Everybody does it. Bill Belichick, you do whatever you want to the guy. You take away his first round pick, take away his quarterback for 4 games, he still goes 13-3.
You're never
9-1 odds.
You're never going to see 9-1 for Belichick again. That is true.
9-1 odds.
I like the comedy of Andy Reid at 14-1, and that's what I would bet.
It's a regular season award, right?
Yeah,
It is.
It is.
Yeah,
so that is the better odds for Andy.
So maybe he has a shot.
Yeah.
Next coach
That's
fired.
funnier, too.
Actually, let's save next coach fired for last because that's my favorite bet every year. Passing yards. I mean, it's a crapshoot, but I thought I didn't like any of them. I'm not even going to bother listing them. Is there anybody that you liked?
I like Phil Rivers a little bit. Plus 750.
Plus 750
almost
for Phil.
4,800 yards last year. That's
House, you like anyone?
Of course. I like Kirk Cousins.
What was he?
I like that.
I thought
25-1.
I thought Carr at 25-1 was kind of fun,
Yeah,
but I wouldn't bet any of those.
they're gonna run too much.
Rushing yards. I might just put more money in Ezekiel Elliott here. Plus 850.
Really?
Yeah, you only need 1,500 yards to win the rushing title. He can't rush for 1,500 yards. He's going to be running through 3 guys every carry.
It's pretty good. By the way, they took this off the board on the site we normally use because of AP, I guess. But
Oh, because he was the favorite at plus
Yeah.
375. Gurley's
Yeah.
plus 450, no quarterback. Lamar Miller's plus 900. Rawls was plus 1,600. Doug Martin plus 1,400. David Johnson, who went for like $44 in our fantasy league yesterday. I'm not even positive he's going to be the full-time back there.
catches a lot of passes.
Plus
But
1,800.
That doesn't help this bet.
What about Bell at 30-1? Any interest?
I think it's too many games off. You can't.
13?
You can't give up 300 yards and win this. You know, someone's
He
gonna.
only
have,
needs to get to 1,500 yards.
what do you
that
mean,
wins it.
to win the whole thing.
Yeah,
Oh.
last year it was like 1450.
I don't know. It's funny. Like when we did our draft yesterday, I looked at the top 5 running backs. I'm like, who's gonna have the most yards? That's who I'll bid the most on.
You couldn't
it is
even
such
figure it
a
out.
crapshoot. Yeah.
House, you like anybody?
No.
Okay.
You know what I like?
Yeah.
I like dinner, and I have a dinner reservation in 12 minutes. I'm on vacation.
All right.
I'm going to go to dinner now.
Okay, bye, House. Thanks for joining
my
us.
number 1 lock of the century,
Yeah. You
Rex
eating?
Ryan, first to be fired.
Okay.
That's the one that I
I
like.
love that guy.
Great.
I love him.
Rex Ryan, that's plus 600. Joe House, a pleasure. Take care.
Go stuff your
Thanks,
face like
fellas.
Rex Ryan.
Enjoy dinner.
Talk to you.
All right. All right, Sal.
He's great.
Specials.
Yeah. Wait, like, can we go defensive rookie of the year? I thought you were going to talk about that. I think we're looking the same way here.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack.
Not rookie of the year, player of the year.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I crossed off JJ. I crossed off Von Miller. Khalil
get
Mack
hurt.
was what?
Plus 550.
Yeah.
I like that.
Let's do that.
I like that. But Marcus Peters, D-back for the Chiefs, 8 interceptions rookie year, 200-1.
Wow.
It's not usually a cornerback, but I like, or a defensive back.
Khalil Mack's one of the few players who's ever played football that I've actually been afraid of just home watching television.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like I watch him like, thank God I don't play football. It'd
Right.
be just awful to get tackled. by
How
that guy.
happy is he like that Simeon is back, like someone like that is back there?
Let's
He's
all
gonna
agree
do
that it'd be really fun if the Raiders were good.
Sure.
It's just more fun. It's better. The late games, the
Yeah.
last Monday night games, always more fun.
But also, if they move to Vegas,
Yeah.
maybe give that city one more.
Yeah, I'd feel bad for the Oakland
Yeah.
people. 2,000 plus receiving yards this year.
Oh,
Plus
this is
500
specials?
odds. Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody has to break 2,000 receiving. It would be Antonio
man.
Brown if it happened.
Oh, so that's what.
So he
one-
did it in a calendar year. He did in his last 6. It was like there was like 16 games in a row. He had 2,000,
but not in the same season.
not in the
So what
same.
is that? 120 something
Plus
yards?
500.
About 120 yards a game. About. You
Yeah,
don't miss a game.
it's like 100 and
That's really
125, something like that.
That's like Kurt Warner Ram.
But the
years.
odds aren't
That's
good
tough.
enough.
Right.
Will a QB have 2 500-yard games? 12-1.
Someone did this last year.
I think Roethlisberger did it.
Was it him? Yeah.
Yeah, one of these guys did it.
Yes. I
Plus
think it was.
1,200. That's at 12-1 odds. That's going to
pretty
happen.
good. That's
Kind of
pretty
like
good.
that one.
Yeah.
Will a running back rush for 2,000 yards? Plus 1,000. I wish there was a way to short that because that's not happening.
I don't think so either.
Here's one I really liked. I think you're going to get excited about this one.
Mm-hmm.
Any team, one team, just one, will go 14-2.
Yeah, I see that.
Plus 200.
Who is it? Did we like anybody to
Just
go
somebody has
14-2?
to get 14, 15,
I
or 16
understand
wins. You
how
win.
it goes, but I just don't know who gets there. Tate, am I an idiot here? What?
Panthers.
KC,
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah.
The odds aren't quite good enough, but I liked it.
You think someone will have 13 in week 17, so you can maybe go against it?
24 receiving TDs, 15-1.
That's a lot.
Gronk?
No, come on. That's a lot. He and Bennett will have 24, but you have to have one of them, right?
All right, let's do it. It's time. Our
What
favorite
is it?
bet of the year. Next coach fired.
All right, let's go to it. Let me find this.
I wish we had a sponsor for the next coach fired. What a great thing to have. Maybe Simply Safe could have sponsored this one. Shout out to Simply Safe.
Who's the headhunter service? The one that hires people on the spot. That's who should have been. I forgot who it is.
Simply Safe brings security to your home. And speaking of security, here's some coaches that don't have them right now. All right, so next coach fired. Jim Caldwell and Mike McCoy are leaders at plus 500. Mm-hmm. Chuck Pagano, who just got an extension, is still 12-1 to get fired. Rex Ryan 16-1. Malarkey 18-1, who just should be fired every week.
Right.
Jason Garrett 20-1.
Garrett's safe again, I think, because of the situation.
He loves when starting quarterbacks get hurt. He buys another year.
Exactly, but he goes house shopping.
Jay Gruden 25-1. McCarthy 80-1. Still my favorite long shot bet, but I like Mike McCoy
To get fired.
Yeah,
You do.
I do. I think that San Diego team. There's a little excitement, which usually leads to, if things go wrong right away, a lot of bitterness, anger, confusion, finger pointing, and plus the stench of that team. Are they going to leave or not? I'm not sold on them being that good. If I had to pick, I would pick that. Caldwell is obviously a very inviting choice, though.
Caldwell I thought was worse than he was. He did have that 11-5 year 2 years ago, and then 7-9 last year. But it's just not a fun team. I think I go Jeff Fisher 9-1.
They just gave him an extension.
No, I think that's it. I think they spent a ton of money on him and moving out here. I could see he can't even teach his team to learn that dinosaurs are real and that mermaids weren't. I'm less impressed with him than I was before Hard Knocks. I think something happens.
Interesting.
They shake it a little bit.
Because the Hard Knocks coaches, either you like them more or you like them less.
What do you
after.
think?
I've been less impressed.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Campo is still the all-time.
Oh, yeah.
I'll never forget the Dave Campo season.
Yeah, he sealed his fate when he put that SeaWorld, that wetsuit on. Like, all right, this guy's done.
Yeah, I shouldn't be home watching a coach on Hard Knocks going, how is this guy in charge of 53 people and a coaching staff? This is incredible.
Yeah.
And that was my reaction with Dave Campo. So you think Jeff Fisher?
I think so.
They just gave him an extension.
Yeah, they don't care. That doesn't matter. That's mine.
What was your favorite bet of all the bets?
Jets under. I'm telling you. That team's garbage.
We should also mention we did the Super Contest this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We flew to Vegas. We signed up. I had a year hiatus. So did you. We're back.
We didn't do it.
You had a great year on ESPN last year.
I know. Thank you. I will not be back there. They didn't want me. They didn't say why. It's a part of our effort to cut costs, continuing effort. And then they coughed and said Bill Simmons' name 6 times, which I thought was weird.
I get blamed for this?
Well, I was like, hey, you all right? Take some water. But yeah, they coughed and said your name. But but I may have something big in the works, and we'll talk
announce
about
that
it
next week.
Yeah.
And we have one last thing to say. I think I don't know how the fans are going to react to this.
What is it?
We are doing the pod every week this year, but we're doing it on a different day. We're going to be taping them on Wednesday afternoons.
After the season.
After the season, retroactively talking, pretending we knew what happened.
Yeah.
We're taping them on Wednesday afternoons and releasing them Thursday mornings.
Right.
In time for the first Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Which is something we had toyed with doing anyway, but with schedules made it so that this is how we had to do it.
And we're still going to guess the lines. We'll write it down
Yeah.
Sunday night, send it to each other, and then whatever the line is when we tape Wednesday night.
So we're going to guess the lines on Sunday, keep track of that, and then as we do it, we'll it's still going to be who won.
Right.
But the lines will have shifted by 3 days, and I actually think it'll be a little bit easier to preview the week.
Well, half the people were annoyed that we didn't watch the Monday night game before we picked the lines anyway, so they wanted us doing it Tuesday, so this is 1 day later. It'll
could
be
solve
fine.
that. It'll be good.
great.
You guys will be totally happy
Bill's
with it.
too big time. He's got this HBO
No,
show. They want him to
no.
focus on it.
No, it's the grind of the TV show is Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah,
So
right.
I love doing this podcast.
Me
so
too, buddy.
I wanted to make sure that we that I was properly researched,
That's right.
not talking out of my ass. Oh wait, I talk out of my ass every
It's
podcast.
still gonna happen.
Very excited though. Year 10 for us.
Yeah, we do it.
So we'll be back. Yeah.
Next Wednesday, right? Or
Yeah, we're
next
taping
Thursday.
We're taping next Wednesday, so
Right.
we'll be back next time you'll hear. We have another BS podcast coming next week, or coming later this week. But Sal will be back Thursday morning, week 1. Guess the lines. As always, good job by you.
Good job by you, Billy.
Anytime y'all want to see me again, rewind this track right here, close your eyes, and picture me rolling.
All right, thanks so much to Sling TV. Remember, the best way to watch live TV on your turf for just $20 a month. You can stream more than 20 live channels, including ESPN, TNT, AMC, and CNN. No installation, no extra gear, no annual contracts, just an internet connection. You're ready to go. Start watching for 7 days free at sling.com/Bill Simmons and get Sling TV on your favorite device. Restrictions do apply. Thanks to SeatGeek, our presenting sponsor. Don't forget to check out theringer.com. Don't forget about our 7 other podcast feeds on the Ringer Podcast Network, including the Ringer NFL Show. Don't forget about my new HBO show, Any Given Wednesday. 10 p.m. Wednesday, HBO. We come back on September 7th. Check out all the old episodes and extra clips on HBO Now, HBO Go, or HBO On Demand. And that's it. We will be back at the end of this week with one more podcast, and then we start the football podcast again next week.